Okay, bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Sebelum kita mula, mari kita buka sesi malam ini dengan umur kita Al-Fatihah. Amin ya rabbal alamin. So, selamat datang ke siri Secangkir Kopi bersama WOF2021 MRSM TEPEN 2021, siri ke-10 pada malam ini. So, seperti pengetahuan semua, program ini telah berjalan pada setiap hari Jumaat. So, malam ini siri ke-10 dan program ini berfokuskan kepada perkongsian isu-isu semasa yang sesuai dengan kepakaran para alumni kita, which also have been selected as the Wall of Fame MRSM TEPEN 2021 lah. So, topik kita pada malam ini insya-Allah teknologi dan anak muda. Alright, before that, appreciation for our strategic partners, ANSARA Typing, MRSM Typing, PNF Energy Sendirian Berhad, Amans Media, Outpost Typing Sendirian Berhad, Alka Systems dan juga BG Capital Holdings Group of Companies. So to all of you that are together with us tonight yang menonton either through FB Live ataupun our Zoom TEPEN, don't forget to write any questions that you have in mind yang kalian nak tujukan kepada ahli-ahli panel kita or our speakers tonight dekat ruangan chat ataupun komen lah kalau menonton dari FB. So towards the end, insyaAllah kita akan ada sesi soal dan jawab, but along the way you can always ask your questions through the chat rooms, and I will address the question to our speakers lah. So okay, to our alumni members MRSM Typing who haven't yet to register officially as a member of ANSARA TEPEN, so you may do so with a lifetime membership only for RM50 menerusi portal rasmi ANSARA Malaysia www.myansara.org. Marilah ramai-ramai daftar, okay? So, alright. Sebelum tu saya kenalkan diri, nama penuh Tasnim Kirawan Ziswa. Saya selaku moderator untuk malam ini. Saya dari batch SPM 2013 MRSM Typing. So, together with us, we have two speakers, obviously our Wall of Fame members for 2021. Speaker kita yang pertama ialah Mr. Muhammad Aiman Wan Azahar dari batch SPM 2008. Beliau berasal dari Gombak, graduated with a bachelor degree in petroleum engineering from UTP. So he started his career journey with Sapura OMV as a completion and well intervention engineer from 2016 until today. Motto hidup beliau, don't only think outside of the box, but be outside of the box. So apa khabar Encik Wan Aiman? Thank you so much sebab sudi bersama dengan kita hari ini.
Good. Thank you Tasnim. Thank you ANSARA ANSARA TEPEN for inviting me.
Alright. Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Wan Aiman. So next is Mr. Muhammad Yusri Jamaluddin from batch SPM 2009, berasal dari Kajang. So he graduated with a Master in Public Policy from Michigan State University. He also holds a Master of Science in Business Analytics and Bachelor of Science in Information Technology and Web Science, both from Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute, New York. I hope I do pronounce that correctly. So he started his career as a data analyst or data specialist and currently with Aerodyne Group as a senior transformation manager. Motto hidup beliau, do what you have to do to get what you want to get. So thank you so much Mr. Yusri to be with us tonight. Apa khabar?
Alhamdulillah, thank you for having me.
All right, thank you to both of you. So okay, I would like to emphasize on our topic again. It's technology dan anak muda. We will go through 3 rounds, which we will focus on round first, the definition of technology itself and the impacts kepada kehidupan seharian anak muda lah, since kita nak emphasizekan kepada anak muda hari ini. So okay, I googled technology is the application of scientific knowledge to the practical aims of human life and towards changes and manipulation of human environment. So dari pemahaman saya, secara simpelnya, it's anything lah, bahan ataupun apa-apa alatan atau perkara yang membantu untuk memudahkan kehidupan seharian kita. Jadi pada malam ini kita we cannot deny that we are in the tech-centric era pada zaman sekarang. So which there are positive and negative impacts on the world and also on our daily lives, especially golongan anak muda lah. So tonight we are interested to explore on the positive outlook of it. So we don't want to see on the negative side of it, and we want to take advantage from the fast-paced technology-driven change lah. So soalan yang pertama saya ingin tunjukkan kepada Mr. Wan Aiman as an introduction. Maybe you want to share with us the definition of technology itself from your point of view, and do you mind elaborating on how the use of technology can help us, especially anak muda ni dalam our daily lives. Persilakan Cik Aiman.
Okay, thank you Tasnim. First of all, thank you for inviting me for this Secangkir Kopi session. I'm flattered actually because you know technology and anak muda, and I reckon I'm still an anak muda going into 3 series. Okay, for starters, definition of technology is application of your knowledge, your design into a working prototype. So that's why what my take on this technology definition. Okay, for starters, so back to your question, how the use of technology helps us, especially the anak muda in our daily life, right? So okay, for starters, there's no doubt that new technology are shaping every part of the world. From the world of medicine, we are going to be looking at nanotechnology in 20 or 30 years onward. Scientists has developed nanobots that can be injected into human body, though still at research stage. Microscopic things, fully man-made thing injected into the bloodstream, traveling around the human body, detect and sense signals outside the human body, detect things like cancer before we even know that we have such a cancer. And then mechanical heart pumps to help circulate blood around the body with battery packs hanging around your waist. And then from the world of business, this technology application, IBM, Google, Facebook, Intel is already doing so many innovative things. Of course, they are technology company to begin with. Now, especially in this pandemic, people can work remotely from their home, even working from different continent with the different time zones without having their physical presence in the office, talking about their project even with the people who they never have met at all. So from the military world, we know that there are all kind of applications for this technology in military pilot. He could be in the USA, get up in the morning, drive his car to work in army camp, and then start flying drones in another part of the world. Let's say in Afghanistan or Iraq, to do surveillance or reconnaissance run. So that's the gist of how powerful technology has become. But that's the big ticket item. So let's narrow down to technology and anak muda, technology and youth. Technology is I think is a very broad topic. Tech skills include almost any way of making anything from building a computer to maybe sharpening a stick. But most of the time, when people talk about tech, they are referring to computers and digital technology. I've remembered reading somewhere that these youngsters, youth, anak muda nowadays are called digital natives because we were born in this explosive technology advancements era. So let's talk about how technology could help or empower youth or anak muda in their lives. So first one, number one, you can easily access information to inform and educate themselves. We have Google, Safari, Microsoft Explorer, all kind of browser to help search free online classes in YouTube, free online learning material for lower, middle, or upper educational level. You can search for research papers, cite it, and use it for your own research. Online e-learning, you can have your online classes. You can do and send your assignment online without having to submit it physically. all that just at the tip of your finger. Then the second one of in how technology can benefit or helps youth in their lives is maintaining and developing a supportive relationship. Remember, I've talked about basically youth are referring technologies to computers and digital technology. Yeah, so so it can help maintaining and developing a supportive relationship because youth nowadays are always connected to each other through Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, especially in this pandemic situation. You can stay connected to your families due to PKP. You cannot balik kampung and all that. So use it wisely. For me, even my parents are living in Rawang and me in Stapa. It has been 4 months since I see them. So what can we do? Call the parents, video call with the parents, and then parents will complain kenapa rambut panjang sangat, barber tutup sebab PKP and all that. Chat, have a lively discussion over the phone, over the video call. It could also promote a sense of belonging and self-esteem through staying connected with friends and also being involved in more diverse communities with people you never have met in your life. Then during Hari Raya, you can download apps Lala Move and ask your parents to send some rendang to you with Lala Move courier. It may look simple, but it keeps you stay connected with your family, especially in these trying times. People are isolated, and then comes depression, and was part of it is suicide. So number 3 that I would like to talk about how it could benefit the youngsters nowadays, anak muda, is through gig economy. Young people, anak muda especially, should take this opportunity to make a side income or extra pocket money. We have various platforms for freelance work advertisement, such as tuition teacher, becomes a runner to deliver packages, proofreading, document translation, you name it, all sort of thing. It empowers the youth not only financially, but to apply their expertise and skills into the real world. So number 4, my last point is that next point is related to point number 1, which is related to education, which is you can also learn new and useful skills. You can be learning a new language, learning a new skill such as baking, programming, machine troubleshooting. It gives you an added value to prepare our youth, anak muda, to face the working environment and also the society post secondary or tertiary education in university.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Aiman. So yeah, so Mr. Aiman have narrowed it down that kebanyakan anak muda akan tafsirkan teknologi as in digital technology. So the 3 points that I got, first is the information sharing, be it in your education or even in your working environment. It is easily to be shared lah, information ni. And then secondly, I think I can assume it's human interactions. For example, that you said macam sekarang ni pandemic, we can't even see each other physically. So as example, you say during Raya, you can even send Lala Move to your parents or grandparents. And I did that Raya hari tu. I did send.
Same with me. Both my parents and my in-laws both send some rendang and ketupat and lemang. So lots of food.
Yeah, agree. And the third one is the gig economy, as you mentioned. So there's a lot of opportunities out there which these anak muda can take advantage of, being a freelancers and everything. Such senang, very easy to access lah, I can see. So yeah, thank you, Mr. Aiman. All right, next. So I did mention that we are indeed in the tech-centric era. So kita nak bertanya pada Encik Yusri, what are the advantages of this tech-centric era that our anak muda should grab, maybe to set us apart from the older generation that may not be that cerca IT as these anak muda nowadays? Silakan, Encik Yusri.
Okay, thank you. That's a good question. So before that, just nak mention pada participants that if you have any questions, feel free. Dia lagi best kalau kita sembang lah instead of being a lecture. So and kalau ada apa-apa boleh chat lah kan. So regarding tech ni, so my experience is limited, but basically now being in a position where we are able to see the trends in the tech industry. And for me, I'm involved in what our company calls DT3, which is about drone technology, data technology, and digital transformation. So when we talk about these industries, basically, this is essentially where the disruption is happening. And when bila kita cakap pasal disruption ni, meaning that there's a huge shift that's happening in the job market, and also it's a huge shift in how we live, how we work. Everything is changing. Macam Cik Aiman cakap tadi kan. Now the way we work is also moving towards gig economy, is moving towards online, and now we're working from home. So that's everything is moving to the pace of technology. So it's following technology. And to be honest, without technology, if we don't have the technology that we have right now, memang it's going to impact education. Memang orang tak boleh pergi sekolah kan. So akan terbantut lah kan. So this what, even with technology pun orang cakap this is the lost generation lah apa benda kan. But without technology it will be worse. And so we are actually lucky that COVID came in the era where we have the technology to actually go through it lah. If not, then there's the terpaksa hantar anak pergi sekolah sebab you have to go to work. Kan tak boleh nak kerja depan laptop kan, depan komputer kan. Mak saya pun dulu kerja as in IT. So at one point macam coding pun kena print on paper. So you imagine that kan. So nowadays there's no paper around and tak ada pun, nobody prints anything. And semua benda online, semua benda on the cloud, semua benda on Google Drive or whatever it is that we use. And that's what technology is doing to us lah. And kita sebenarnya tak sedar lah these changes. If we look past 10 years pun, even live streaming like what we're doing now is not possible 10 years ago. And 10 years tak lama pun. And kalau tak kita dah buat macam ni lah live kan, masa zaman saya dekat masa typing pun tak ada benda macam ni kan. So these are all things that tech is rapidly changing and is rapidly evolving, and it's giving to the benefit lah. And there's a lot of benefit that comes with it. There's a lot of barriers that we're able to overcome. Like for example, even in the drone industry pun, we're moving into agriculture kan. Agriculture is a very not really dangerous, but there's risk in managing pesticide, semua benda ni, and it affects your health. So now with technology is also something yang it has removed that barrier lah. So instead of we expose our farmers to pesticides with risk of cancer and all that stuff, we have robots, we have drones that are replacing that. So in a way, this tech-centric era is really providing a branch into our sixth sense lah, senang cerita kan. So maybe we have our five senses. The sixth sense is actually technology. Is really revamping the way we work and stuff like that. The biggest advantage of technology is essentially access. Access, I can never stress this enough. I read a book when I was kat sekolah menengah dulu. It's called The World is Flat. Actually, I think I have it. Yep. So it's called The World is Flat tau. So it's a book. Alamak, tak nampak dia ni. So nampak sikit kan sini kan. Tak nampak. The World is Flat. So basically it's a book by Thomas L. Friedman. He's a I'm not sure what you call him, the economist / globalization punya guy lah. So when I read this book, MySpace maybe tengah hangat, Facebook pun baru lagi kan. So this was an old book lah. I think it was written somewhere around 2005, 2006, something like that. So masa tu pun internet baru lagi, Amazon pun belum hot lagi, Google pun still maybe baru listed, maybe baru IPO. So essentially what he talks about in this book is that the world will be flattened. Flatten ni maksud dia the playing field will be flattened. Even though you live in a underdeveloped country, you will still have more or less the same access to opportunities, the same access to information, the same access to tools like people in a developed country. Kalau dulu, kalau nak berjaya, you have to go to a developed country barulah kita dapat opportunity yang sama kan. Now, you can watch MIT lectures on YouTube. And that's access. Access, you can have access to so many things. Dulu, you want to be a computer programmer, you have to go to tech school. You have to learn about IT, computer science, and all these things, kena belajar matematik apa semua. Nowadays, you can just open Coursera, belajar programming, belajar Python, whatever it is yang kita nak belajar. So basically untuk anak-anak muda lah, the world is wide open. Dan dengan adanya World Wide Web, the internet ni, the access is very, very open. You can take an MIT course. You can watch a Stanford course on YouTube for free. You don't have to pay a single cent. And it's free. And you can have access to CEOs, apa benda semua bagi sharing about their experience and all that. It's all free. It's all available online. And you don't actually have to fly overseas. So these are the things that are revolutionary lah. And of course, it's changing the way we work. It's changing the way our education system. And I believe to a point that one day our degree might not even be relevant because the information is already online. The information is already there. Even right now, Google has announced that they no longer care about degrees. Dulu when they started Google, they are very elitist, and they started Google. Dia orang kata we only hire Stanford graduates or benda-benda top school lah. But now they realize that the degrees are getting less relevant sebab everybody can become a programmer now. Everybody can become a software engineer. So anybody can learn how to code, how to manage a company, whatever it is your field is. And if you are in the mid of your career pun tiba-tiba you nak tukar bidang, you can do that. And so the opportunities are endless. So and then at the end of the day, it's just about how you utilize it lah. Of course, there's a downside to it. There's a lot of like I mentioned by Aiman, mental health issues. There's a lot of changes in adapting to these technologies, and there's a lot of pressure as well because nowadays kalau kita tengok pun the world leaders kan makin lama makin muda. And pernah tak kita terfikir why is it that world leaders makin lama makin muda? Kita tengok siapa nama ni Macron from France, a very young guy. We have prime ministers at the age of 29, my age, jadi prime ministers, jadi president of a country. And have you ever wondered why? And the answer is very simple. The answer is access to information. Dulu kita nak jadi somebody top in a organization, you have to go through years of training. Kena go through mentorship lah apa. Sekarang ni you can learn from a mentor that you found online, and you can learn from Elon Musk from his YouTube. And kau pergi YouTube je tengok video-video dia, you can learn a lot about Elon Musk without having to meet him. So these are the things lah yang we can go on and on lah in terms of this. But the point yang I really want to stress out and to drive is really about access lah. And it's something that is we're living in a very fascinating time, and we're very fortunate to have these opportunities.
Agree, betul. It's actually an eye-opener for me myself sebab bila Mr. Yusri tekankan that the biggest advantage would be access. Me myself pun baru realise that because I recently signed up for extra class in interior designing. I'm actually a graduate in accounting, tapi it's just a hobby that I would like to just buat dalam masa lapang kan. So yeah, I did sign up for that, and yeah, it's such an easy access for me to even learn it online. So macam sangat easy access lah.
So on that note as well, so my mother actually did the same thing you did. So dia ambil kelas interior design when dia background computer science, but midway to not really midway lah, early in her career dia macam nak explore kan, so just want to learn. So dia ambil kelas interior design. This was like 1980s. And so benda tu tak ada online kan, there's no portal whatever. So what she had to do was dia akan dapat tip dia ambil daripada Sheffield University or something lah, overseas lah. So dia akan dapat tip daripada dia punya professor, recording what are the lecture, apa benda yang dia kena buat. Lepas tu dia kena dengar tip tu, and then dia kena spend time untuk draw guna guna paintbrush, real paintbrush. Sekarang ni kita pakai software whatever kan. Dulu dia kena pakai. So waktu lunch actually dia cerita lah, waktu lunch dia kena berhenti jap, dia kena ambil paintbrush, buat keluar meja dia semua kan. Betul bila colleague datang, apa benda kau buat melukis-lukis ni kan. So when we think about that and then we compare to now, it's like they're so different, and so different. You can
Yeah,
you do the
very.
same thing, but the way you're doing it is totally different.
Yeah, very, because my class ni basically like 4 hours seminggu 2 hari. So sehari tu 4 hours je. So lah, yeah, very different lah indeed. So okay, thank you very much Mr. Yusri for the sharing. Alright, next kita nak move on to our second round. So moving on to second round, kita nak sentuh kepada cabaran. So we have mentioned that we are indeed in the tech-centric era. So being the generation, the tech centric generations, we want to explore lah the challenges that anak muda, generasi anak muda ni might be facing, be it in working or also studying. So soalan pertama kita tujukan pada Cik Wan Aiman dululah, challenges in the working environment. So okay, I'm quite curious sebenarnya sebab Mr. Aiman being an engineer, you must be on sites kan kebiasaannya. But with this pandemic going on, are there any changes to, are there any impacts to you yourself? Maybe you can share that with us. And like maybe you can relate also challenges that how did you adapt to it in your daily work environment tu lah. So maybe for other people, anak muda kita yang lain, maybe kita nak cakap fokus on the challenges dalam work-life balance, sebab saya rasa generasi anak muda ni suka sangat talk about the work-life balance. So yeah, maybe are there any impacts, the good or bad impacts on work-life balance since we are already working remotely? So is it more towards work-life balance or not? Yeah, maybe Mr. Aiman can share more with us.
Okay. So firstly, there's two different kind of engineers. One is working on the work site. They call it as field engineer or field service engineer, and I'm the one who sit in the office doing the design work, the engineering work, all the I mean the development phases, the engineering calculation and all that. So I'm not really affected with this pandemic because I can do my work from home. Actually, nowadays for field service engineers, it's really challenging for them because they need to undergo a quarantine, and then they need to onboard the platform, the oil field. So most of the time they will spend on quarantine and then do the job, and then when they have to come back on shore, they have to be quarantined again. So there's a time wasted, valuable time wasted. Okay, so back to your question, what are the challenges in work environment, working from home? Actually, the trend, the trend of remote work, I mean working from home was already growing even before 2020, but when COVID-19 hit us, it was booming, it was skyrocketed, it was a trend, it was the safer alternatives. There's a survey or study, I can't remember on top of my head, 46% of correspondents says that their organization plan on making this remote working from home arrangement as a permanent arrangement, so to speak, so to speak, because it can save your overhead costs, it can save your time traveling, going to the work and coming back to your home. So let's talk about the downside of this. Downside of this, mainly from my experience, I've been working from home for almost a year and a half, since March 2020. And in the middle, I've been for 2 months working on a rotation, 1 week from office and 1 week from home, but that was interrupted due to the third wave of COVID-19 in Malaysia. So we continue to continue to working from home up until now. So yeah, basically you can say that 1 year and a half I've been working from home. So the first noticeable challenges that I'm going through, and I'm still adapting to it, is a collaboration and communication issue. Communication between humans is already hard enough for some people in terms of relaying the message and making sure it was understood accurately as what we intended, or are they on the same page with us? So people in this kind of situation, they are relying on the non-verbal communication via chat on MS Team that could create confusion, miscommunication, or wrong word intonation. I mean, take it from my experience, I wasn't good at typing without having to look at the keyboard. And then that time when I was chatting with my office mate, my colleagues, I wasn't aware that my caps locks turned on. So the sentence that I typed, send document tu sekarang boleh, become a full capital, send document tu sekarang boleh, all in capital letters. So it really makes a difference in word intonation. So I guess things like that, it may look simple, but it can, it can affect your work environment and your work relationship with your other colleagues. And then number two, what I've noticed so far for a year and a half is not being able to unplug from your screen, from your computers. Working and living in the same space, in the same environment for a prolonged duration could blur the lines between your work life and your personal life. You continue to be in front of your screen, even after 2 hours past your office hours, especially if you have an urgent submission to your boss. So the only time I could unplug is when my daughter is disturbing me or harassing me. I don't know what to call that. So my 2 years old, and then that's when I know that, okay, let's call it a day, another dollars. So that's it. That's my, for lack of better word, coping mechanism with this unplugging from your workspace issue. So remember, family is first, works come second, especially if you have a family in your home. And then the third one is distractions at home. For me, it's not a distraction coming from your bed or Netflix, but more to a pile of dirty dishes or barang mainan anak bersepah. You couldn't focus until you have sorted that out. Clutter, especially with a child at home lah. You have to clean it up first, and then then only you could focus to your work. So that's kind of distraction that I had in my home. So, and then lastly, I think we could agree with this poor internet connection issue. You were presenting, looking at your PowerPoint slides, only to realize that you've been talking to yourself for the past 3 minutes, 4 minutes due to internet unstable connection. And then it's so frustrating because you have to repeat again for the things that you have been presented prior to that. So that's about it.
Yep. Okay. I have to agree to all of them because I just started working also in 2020 January. So I'm the generation yang bermula kerja secara remote lah, boleh dikatakan. Such as Mr. Aiman said, the wrongly sent messages in capital letters. Oh my god, it may look simple, but it does happen, and it happens quite often, I can say lah, macam tu. And then such as when you say that you only clock off whenever that your daughter might kacau you, when in my case, even though I'm not yet married, but I also ada juga orang yang akan long tak habis lagi ke kerja, those kind of things. So yeah, these are the challenges that I think even I started working remotely, started my career working remotely, I also take this as a challenge. So yeah, I think it depends on each individual on how you need to adapt with this fast changing working environment. And yeah, I think it really depends on individuals lah kan, Encik Aiman.
Yeah, for me, I've been blessed with a great seniors, great superiors, great bosses, because they didn't expect me to reply that 11 p.m. emails 12 a.m. emails on short notice. I mean, I can take it in the morning. So if
Yep,
it is not
agree.
urgent.
Agree, that's also another factor. So yeah, I pun always pray lah that I will have a very good team and bosses as well. All right. Thank you, Cik Aiman. So that are the challenges that we can see in the working environment. Moving on to Mr. Yusri, we'd like to focus the challenges for students pula. Like as of today, to adapt to virtual learning instead of the physical learning macam kita dulu lah, being in classroom and everything kan. So let's take an example for our adik-adik SPM batch 20. I think half of the year they learn in school, but half of it they learn remotely. And then sekarang ni most of them memang dah start masuk university. So masuk university memang it's virtual, it's all online classroom and everything. So maybe you want to share with us what are the challenges that they might be facing.
Yeah. So yeah, tadi I think in the first part I mentioned about all the good stuff lah, which is access and all that. And actually the big disadvantage is lack of access. So I think it's unfair to say that yes, you have access and you can say that the world is flat, blah blah blah. There was this one researcher when I was in US, Roberto Gallardo nama dia. So he's a doctor lah, PhD. He came up with the digital divide index. So digital divide index ni basically is an index that measures broadband access and across US lah masa tu kan. I don't think we have such an index in Malaysia, tapi basically what it measures is about how much you have an access. Tapi dekat Malaysia, I think is about broadband penetration rate as of early last year was about 30+%. So very low access to internet. So you imagine the challenges of people who don't have internet. So I believe maybe by now, since COVID hit, maybe the access has been increased. I'm not sure what the numbers are currently. But regardless, that has to be one of the main challenges. There are a lot of people, regardless, mungkin people watching this, they have no access, no problem about internet, right? So, but there are a lot of people out there who don't have access to internet and who might be left behind and in the academic space because there is just no chance you're going to get the information. And to add on apa yang Aiman cakap tadi, Encik Aiman cakap tadi, basically I think one of the big problems, not just in work or in classroom, virtual classroom or virtual work, the big problem is that we are trying to replicate real life into online life, without changing anything. So dekat real life, you have people in your department seated around you. Bila you nak tanya soalan, you boleh pergi je kan. Jumpa tu tanya Encik boleh tak explain sikit kan? Ada soalan lah macam ni, kalau finance buat macam ni, macam mana apa semua kan. So you can have those short conversations to answer questions and stuff like that. Online, you cannot do that. It's very difficult for you to tiba-tiba jumpa pergi lepak meja orang sekejap, tanya soalan, or stress jumpa kawan nak sembang-sembang sekejap, ataupun whatever it is lah. And it's very difficult. But a lot of companies, what they are doing is just they are taking the physical workspace and they're transferring online. So benda-benda yang discussion ni, they want to convert into Zoom meetings. So, and you cannot have 5-minute Zoom meetings. Nobody have 5-minute Zoom meetings. It's always half an hour, paling cepat 15 minit. And so which leads to Zoom fatigue, and which is a term that is very popular since COVID lah, Zoom fatigue, and orang dah penat dah banyak sangat kali Zoom apa semua kan. And the problem is really not Zoom. And the problem, you cannot blame Zoom for the problem. Zoom is just a platform, a place where you have the access. But the problem is because we are not adapting the way we work to our online punya inilah life lah. And I'm not sure about classrooms, whether or not classrooms are being changed and stuff like that. My experience in US is very different. I had online classes as well. I had professional certificates where 100% online. I think we had enough portal, we have access, we have office hours, stuff like that. But I'm sure school is very different. Sekolah menengah especially is very, very different than university or even postgraduate punya courses, right? But in terms of disadvantage is that the structure lah. And terus the structure, if it's not set up properly, it will cause fatigue and it will make you burn out and it will make you really, really tired looking at the screen because the structure is the same. You are trying to replicate sembang-sembang tu online. And then at the same time, you're not adapting the social punya aspect of our interaction into online. I take, for example, this company called GitLab, and you guys can read up on this company. They are 100% remote since before COVID. So they have been a few years already. They are 100% remote. And when you study their company, they try their best to solve this remote work issue by changing the way they work. So one of the things they do is that there is no fixed work hour. So there's no 9 to 5, tak ada. Because it's impossible you're going to work 9, you're going to sit dekat depan komputer tu pukul 9, pukul 6 baru bangun habis kerja kan. Yelah, ada anak lah, ada apa, macam-macam lah. There's a lot of things you have to do at the house yang memang impossible lah. Yang apa, you're going to sit there 9 to 5. Some companies, they just force you to do that. I know a company yang dia record your screen. They want to see that you are in front of the screen. Macam very micromanaging style lah. And they want to see that you are in front of the screen every single time. And if you're not there, I'm not sure what they do lah. But essentially, that's the level of surveillance that they do on their staff. And this is not helping lah. This is also one of the things yang memang akan cause burnout. It's going to cause people to be really tired, to be sitting down in front of the screen without anyone in their room. And especially you're sitting there alone, you don't have any colleagues, nak sembang pun tak boleh, nak release stress pun tak boleh. And lagi-lagi kalau ada family, ada anak pula kan, ada anak pula kacau. There's a lot of those things. And it's the same with school. Sama je dengan sekolah kan. If you repeat the same 9 to, 8 to 1 or whatever it is, the time yang ada sekolah ni, and then you use the same thing, syllabus pun sama je, kelas sejam lecture tu, ulang, benda sama, is going to cause burnout, and students will be very, very tired, and it's very hard to focus. And this is where you have to adapt it to be more focused. You use the sessions to be in a discussion format, so it's not just a lecture. So you maybe provide a recording, and then people tengok at their time, whatever that it is, and then you have a short discussion. So it will be more focused on that. And then of course you try to replicate one of the best practices. If you look into GitLab model ni, basically they try to replicate the social setting. So it's not just meeting that they're bringing online, but social events also they have online. So they have like I think coffee hours every single week, where you just hop on a Zoom call, and then you can have a chat with your friends, try just non-work related stuff. You have mentors, stuff like that lah. All these different initiatives. At the end of the day, the goal is to make you comfortable working online. This is, I think, from an employee perspective, maybe we cannot do much, and whatever our employee kita dapat, kita redha lah kan. Sama juga student perspective pun, we cannot really do much. But for the teachers watching, I hope you consider lah. And in terms of classroom format, we really have to adapt the format to take into account lah Zoom fatigue. That's one very, very big thing. People get really tired, and listening to lecture over and over again is very, very tiring. And if you can just give them the recording or an audio or whatever it is, or change the format into a presentation format, and you don't just listen to me, you go read it up and then we discuss. Change it to that format. So it will reduce the time they spend on Zoom, and then they have more focused time. They can read up, they can spend. But of course, there's a level of trust lah. So kena bagi, it may work, it may not work. So you have to adapt to your own situation. But at the end of the day, the point is really about adapting. And this goes to the student as well. And a lot, bila kita cakap pasal changing to virtual setting ni, and we talk about disadvantage, it's really not about the disadvantage of virtual learning per se, tapi it's about the challenge of adapting. The challenge of adapting. Everything, semua benda yang kita buat, kita nak buat benda baru, memang susah. And taking from 0 to 1 is the most difficult part. But once you get from 2 to 10 tu, it's easier because the learning curve. So this is normal, and the first time you do it is very difficult. but the more you do it, the more you learn the techniques, and the more you learn how to make meetings better, the more you learn that you need to document stuff, and so that it's not repetitive. And then the more you learn how to handle yourself, how to handle your meetings, how to handle online stuff, how to make discussions faster, don't waste any time discussing on random stuff that will waste your time, make you really tired. So it will take time, but we have, for the students out there who are struggling to manage online learning, you have to just keep in mind that we just have to adapt, and there's no other way around it. Online work, virtual work is here to stay, and whether or not you work from home or you work at the office, you collaborate with different countries, you kena buat juga online work, and there's no way around it. So whether you like it or not, you have to adapt. You have to find a way to make it work for you, and you find a way to manage your mental health, find a way to manage your time, your focus, and even turning on the camera. There's new study showing that if you turn off your camera, there's less stress, and you feel less tired, less burnout lah. So that might be one of the things that you manage lah, and turn off the camera, do a virtual background. Your teacher will never notice you're not there. So something like that lah. So that's just one way to do it lah. But that's basically my point lah, which is about adapting. So both the teachers or even our employers to adapt with the online situation, and as employees and as students to adapt ourselves, our way of doing work to whatever platform that we have.
All right, okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Yusri. I would like to emphasize that you said the challenges are actually to adapt with the changes, kan? So macam what I boleh rumuskan, I can see two points lah from here. Like number one, be it in working environment ataupun for students for studying, it's going to be social interactions, number one. And number two, you talk about access, and also I think the environment itself that we are duduk ni lah, maksudnya keadaan duduk mungkin, or the arrangement of our laptop, those such things. So when we talk about social interactions, it must be two ways. So for example, mungkin kalau dari segi bekerja, external parties would be our colleague and our bosses. So for the students, it might be parents and also teachers. So yeah, like you said, all these external parties have to work together to actually adapt towards the changes lah, macam tu. Setuju. And then not sure whether that's a good tips or not to put our background picture so that our teacher can always see us there even though our camera is off. But yeah, even if it would help, why not, right? Yeah.
Yeah, my point is to be creative lah, not to do exactly what I say. So
faham. Okay. All right, take note. Okay, all right. Before we move on to our third round, I did go through some of the comments on FB. No questions sepanjang sesi kita, tapi ada few comments from Mr. Syafiq. Aiman is the best. From Mr. Akmal Johari, Aiman jiran cubemate saya, #dan claim. So yeah, I bet it's all your friends are here with us tonight. Thank you for joining, everyone. Okay, next to our last round lah, I can say. Pusingan ketiga, kita nak sentuh on peluang yang berkaitan dengan tajuk kita lah, teknologi dan juga anak muda. So we are aware there are lots of job opportunities out there juga despite the pandemic. And we want to make sure that this generation of anak muda are well equipped dan dilengkapi dengan kemahiran bentuk baharu lah, terutama dalam bidang teknologi. Because we believe, and me myself also, I do believe that it can ensure a wider career prospect. So I would like to ask the first question, what are the new skills to learn and to be picked up to adapt to this tech-centric work era? So di kalangan generasi muda kan, contohnya saya sendirilah boleh diambil kira juga, bagi generasi yang baru memasuki alam pekerjaan, baru tamat pengajian, baru setahun lah tamat pengajian. So what are the things that we can pick up, boleh kita orang lakukan supaya kami sentiasa bersedia dengan alam pekerjaan yang baru ni? mainly on bidang teknologi lah. Maybe Mr. Aiman or Mr. Yusri, either one of you boleh jawab. Or we can go both, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Aiman go first.
Well, okay. New skills to learn and pick up, to adapt. I mean, okay, youth out there, be aware that routine manual tasks such as the assembly line worker, such as in factory and all that, data collection are more likely to be replaced by automation. So this repetitive task or job function will be replaced by a superior technology to that. So I agree. There's a lot of new skill that you can learn and pick up for you to adapt and to prepare yourself to this technology era. But I would say that this is not a new skills, but of course you need to be competent in basics items such as Microsoft Office. I mean, Microsoft Office, Word, PowerPoint, Excel, especially in engineering type of work. So you need to not to say that you need to. This is a new skills to learn, but you may have that competency, but to polish it up a little bit further, so that you can carry out your tasks more efficiently, something like that. And then good working knowledge on both Microsoft Windows and Mac operating system environment, Android, something like that, to make yourself more versatile and more adaptable to any kind of environment that you need to be working on. And then for me, coding language such as Python, HTML, JavaScript. I mean, coding is a method to make software and hardware to act upon your instructions. So learning coding may enhance the logical and problem-solving skills ability for the students and for the youth. So I think it's a very important it's very important for students to learn these coding languages, because you know, in this kind of technology era. For me myself, during this MCO period, working from home, I have more flexibilities, and so I enroll in e-latte. It's an online courses accessible by all Malaysian, provided by the HRD, by the government of Malaysia. So the subjects that really piqued my interest was on the programming. So all sort of that coding languages, but of course I never finish it because due to the work commitment and personal commitment. It's not an excuse, especially for the youth, which you are not married. Not to downplay or looking down at your free time or your lack of commitment, both time and family, but I mean, it's not an excuse for you not to check out or learning these coding languages lah. For me, as my friend Shafiq Chong, Bash 081 said that no pain, no gain. But there's an continuity to it. No pain, then no pain lah. But I only took the first section, which is the no pain, no gain. So it's good to learn this coding languages. And then the last one, I think, is mostly on the data analysis, data management, because most management positions require accurately gathering and reporting data to upper management and the superior. And then to do so effectively, you should be able to conduct data analysis across a variety of projects and check for significant trends or potential problems. And if someone else is responsible for performing the analysis, you should still be able to understand the process clearly, the thought process, what's to that outcome, and clearly, so that you can explain what the process analysis, the findings, and the implication for any next steps. So I think that's a few new skills. Maybe Yusri can add up some more.
Yep. Yeah. I think I can just go. So basically, when we talk about skills, is very wide. You can, and I think what Aiman has mentioned is already encompassing a lot of data. That's very true. A lot of people don't realize that when it comes to management level, upper management especially, data is very important. Data is very, very valuable. It's not about data. When we talk about data ni, it's not about macam upper management nak tengok teknologi ke whatever. Some people don't understand data. Data is really about informing the management what is really happening, and it's a fact based instead of perception based. So take for example, when you're running a company with 1,000 employees, how are you going to measure, how are you going to tell that your company is profitable? How are you going to understand that your employees are working productively? How are you going to make sure that, how are you going to see as a CEO of that company, how are you going to see whether or not there are any problems? At the end of the day, it's about the data that comes to the management, which is why, so this is why data scientists or all these other fields yang related to data is highly in demand. And at the moment. But with that being said, that might not be the case for, I mean, in the near future, maybe that's not the case, because technology is changing very, very fast. When I started my master degree, I was a second batch of basically a master in big data lah, master in business analytics, so big data in management. But nowadays, big data punya degree pun dah jadi macam secondary. Now we're already talking about AI, we're already talking about machine learning. So the technology is moving at very fast pace. Things are changing, and it's not just manufacturing jobs tau. It's not just factory line workers, they are losing their jobs. Almost every other job yang boleh repetitive, and not just repetitive actually, almost every other job yang there are some level of predictable processing power can be replaced. So I take you for example, people dekat Wall Street, dekat stock brokers, or people who read the tickers dekat the stock tu kan, they are already being replaced by robo traders. And nowadays you don't really need brokers. You don't need brokers anymore. I invest on an app, tak pernah jumpa broker seumur hidup. You can just use a Robinhood app or whatever. Now we have robo investor, Wahid Invest, and all these things. So computers are replacing stock traders. These are very high demand, not really high demand, sorry, high, I'm looking for that word, high intelligence lah, in a way, and it requires a lot of processing power. People who get these jobs are very smart people. They are not people yang manual workers. So it's not just manual workers yang going to be replaced. Recently, I think Kayu Nasi Kandar has already started experimenting with a robot punya waiter. And waiter tu robot tu dia bawa tak tahu ada bawa roti canai ke, roti canai pun nak guna robot kan. Tapi basically macam kedai mamak bawa dia tengah eksperimen lah guna robot kan to do that kan. And moving forward, there's gonna be so many jobs are going to be displaced by technology. It's scary actually. It's a scary thought. But for people who are in college or about to go to college, you really have to think about this, because in 4 years, and when you graduate, there's going to be so many jobs that are changing, that have changed. Even sekarang ni, we say that with technology, people are driving Uber, ada gig economy, and boleh guna app je nak bekerja, and you don't have to actually ni. But in the next 5 years, that might be very different. It might not even be a human being driving that car. And maybe orang pun dah kena replace by autonomous vehicles. And this is part of the plan. If you look into interviews of Elon Musk, you look interview of Uber punya CEOs, the plan is eventually that these cars will be self-driving, and you don't actually need anybody to become your Uber driver. Sekarang ni Grab lah, Malaysia Grab kan, Grab driver. You don't actually need, because cars are going to be replaced by autonomous vehicles. And truck drivers, and in US, truck drivers are slowly being replaced by computers, being autonomous trucks. And there's a good case for it. You don't actually need humans. Humans are inefficient, and they stop at kena bawa berapa jam, kena berhenti kencing, kena pergi tandas, and pergi sampai malam sikit, pukul 10 dah penat dengan ngantuk, and tu sebab sekarang ni case truck driver ambil dadah apa semua kan, because they're trying to compete with to become more productive. These problems don't happen when you have computers driving. So my point that I'm trying to bring is that these are the trends. These are the trends that are happening in the industry, and when you are about to go into the industry, you have to be wary of this. Even things like legal jobs pun currently being there are experiments at the moment in the US to have legal jobs ni pun dah ada predictive dia lah. They have their own AI to answer your legal questions. So lawyer ni penat study 4 tahun pun dah boleh replace. And because lawyer pun ada limitation kan, tapi computer don't have limitation. Computer boleh baca berapa banyak library punya buku kan. Tapi kita ni satu hari berapa banyak buku sangat lawyer boleh check kan, nak check dokumen ke apa kan. So this is scary. Bila fikir balik macam scary masa depan apa benda kan. But that is the trend lah. And what you decide to, you have to decide where you want to position yourself in this trend. And not to say that semua orang kena jadi programmer, no. But you have to decide between where you are going to be when all these advancements are happening. And just because we have technology does not mean that we don't need any other expert. I take you for example, in Aerodyne, we're doing drone technology. Even though kita buat drone, we still need people who are expert in agriculture, but they understand technology at the same time to become part of it, to become part of the project, untuk buat drone spraying, pump plantation punya management, whatever it is, tree counting ke apa ke benda yang buat ni, guna AI or whatever. But we still need people in the field. But regardless, it has to tie back to technology. So you cannot just become an expert in in one field and then you become detached with these advancements. You will become very obsolete in a few years. Sekejap je. Sebab tu sekarang ni dah banyak kan kes degree yang tak pakai pun kan. Degree lain, kerja lain. In the future, my take is degree will be useless. Maybe not in the next 5-10 years. Tapi in the future, I don't believe degrees will be helpful anymore. And satu, you can belajar online, and dua, the skills are not going to be siloed in one field. It has to be interdisciplinary, and you have to have a bit of understanding of data, a bit of understanding of machine learning, a bit of understanding of AI and all these different technology, and then a bit of understanding in your subject matter, whatever it is, be it finance ke, accounting ke, business admin ke, operation, project management, whatever it is, you have to have a combination lah. And with this combination, I think it's now you can position yourself better in terms of this advancement lah. I do think everybody needs to learn to code and to learn data analysis, not because you want to be a programmer, not because you want to become a data analyst, but you have to understand, macam Aiman cakap tadi, you have to understand the thought process. And when you understand that, it's very easy for you to connect the dots. And when you start working now you understand why we need to report the data this way. Now you understand why we need this data. Yang you rasa macam apa benda lah kita setiap hari collect data dan apa-apa ni kan. But from a high level perspective, then you understand. Macam even in my current work pun, we have to collect, all of our staff have to collect some data every single day. And if they don't understand, they will be like, apa benda tak biar minta data ni. Tapi if you understand from a high level perspective, that's how we manage our workforce. That's how we see where to manage the manpower, stuff like that from the data lah. So this is where people who have the understanding, who have the background, who have the knowledge of all these different advancements, it will be easy for them to position themselves in the job market.
All right, thank you to both Mr. Aiman and Mr. Yusri. So apa yang I want to summarize is that I can pick up that softwares are very important lah in terms of the skills to be pick up ni kan bagi generasi anak muda, because I would like to put myself as an example jugalah. The things that I think that I would do back then, contohnya being an accountant, I've been using accounting software, companies been using accounting softwares. So bila fikir balik kan, oh, it would be good back then if I can actually explore, or this company using what software, this company using what software, and for example they have like SQL, Sage, all those things. So if only I can pick up those skills during my free time, maybe before I got employed. So tak adalah bila masuk kerja je terkiar-kiar baru nak explore everything, nak masuk data ni macam mana apa semua, because in the end when I masuk kerja, those things can even be Google. So yeah, those kind of things that, back to the Mr. Yusri punya point lah, it's all about access. So there are a lot of skills to be picked up lah for generasi anak muda kita sekarang. And about the matching in terms of that, you said on expertise, I would like to take an example juga. Me being an accountant, I don't know much about this IT lah kan, boleh cakap I buta IT, but my brother is an IT graduate, and it just happens to be that he was interning with a finance team. So he is very good with the Power BI. So Power BI is actually the report that you project data lah kan, project data to the higher management in such a very comprehensive way. So I think bila I match my expertise with him, so I can see that why you said that IT could be the essential expertise in future lah. Macam doesn't matter that what graduate you are, finance ke, engineer ke, IT tu dah jadi macam essential lah untuk kita position ourselves in future kan, macam tu. Which topik kita ni macam back to soalan dari Miss Amani Anwar. She said also, if a lot of things are getting automated, will that change job opportunities or wage value? For number one, job opportunities, I think Mr. Yusri has explained juga. It's not that about job opportunities, nak kata we will be obsolete, but how do we change ourselves to position ourselves? For example, you said like lawyers might be obsolete kan in futures because there's already study pun buat all these things. But in their defense, I think macam lawyers, auditors, they have judgments. They have their own judgments, that human judgments that machines cannot replace that lah. But still, I do agree with Mr. Yusri that I think it's very important for them to catch up juga, pick up juga. So in terms of wage value, I'm not sure about that. Maybe Mr. Yusri, are there any comment to add up?
Yeah, so by the way, I'm looking for someone with Power BI background in my team. So like I said, it's very high demand, so let me know if your brother is interested.
Yeah,
so,
he just finished his internship, so yeah, he's looking for a job opportunity as well. Okay,
separate conversation. But okay. So
deal.
So if anybody else listening to this, I'm looking for people like that. By the way, so yes, on job opportunities and wage, definitely. Not that these jobs will be replaced. It's just that it will be decreased very, very much. So a lot of the jobs are going to be because at the end of the day, the aim of technology is to make things more efficient. You want to save costs. And humans there's a lot of cost to humans. When you manage a workforce, it's not just the cost of your wage, but your perangai also. If you bring a toxic environment, you become a manager, it will affect your whole team. So why is it that we want to waste money? So sorry, ayat dia agak kasar. Why you want to waste money on somebody who's gonna be potentially a problem, gonna cost you so many HR stuff, ambil cuti lah apa benda, when you can just have a computer. Contoh lah kan. This is the thought process that's happening, and at the end of the day, you will need less people. So say for example, if you have 20 lawyers, for example, and maybe 5 of them doing repetitive work, filing the same patterns, filing whatever lah kan, reading up the same research paper, whatever. Why not just get rid of the 5 and replace with one computer, for example? And that's the reality. Articles. There are recently some articles that have been written by a computer. So you imagine finance articles in Forbes magazine, for example, can be written sebab if you look into some magazines, they report the same things lah. They report earnings of a company when it comes to bila dia orang IPO ke apa ke, and there's a pattern to it. There's a pattern to how people write articles. So reporter, orang yang kita rasa macam kreatif kan, nak menulis kan, you have to be creative, can be replaced by an AI. So you imagine that, and that it has been done. Ada artikel yang they have tested using an AI to write an article. Nobody knew it was written by an AI. So moving forward, this is definitely going to change. It's definitely going to change job opportunities. It will skew more towards the tech lah. So there will be a lot more people. Demand will be higher on people with a combination of tech and a specific subject matter. So for example, if we go back to the idea of a lawyer, they will need more lawyers who understand how to create an AI for legal punya stuff lah. And how do you create an AI to file a patent, for example? And so you need a lawyer to help you that. You cannot just programmer tiba-tiba bantai-bantai macam ni nak file patent kan, tak ada kan. So you have to work together with the lawyer. So that's, for example, is something yang akan berlaku lah. So you need a subject matter expert. So of course the job market will flow towards that area. You will need people who are subject matter experts, but they have an understanding in tech as well. And the wage, of course, will be concentrated, and it will be the low value punya work ni. Most of it will be replaced, and of course there's gonna be a lot more jobs created. But it will be more tech job lah, more maintenance job. Maintenance work is going to be increasing because there's going to be more robots. So there's going to be a need for more mechanics, more repairmen, stuff like that. But even then, maybe even can be replaced by robots lah, and to repair. So it's a very dark future lah when we think about it. And but at the same time, it's a reality, and it's a I hate to bring a negative connotation, but it's something that policy wise, because I studied public policy, and policy wise is definitely something that we have to think about lah, in terms of how to manage it, how to manage in terms of taxing, in terms of distribution of wealth, and social punya safety, stuff like that lah. Tapi that's a discussion for another day lah.
All right, understood and very clear. I hope that answers your curiosity, Ms. Amani. So we don't have any further question. All right, we've reached 10:15 actually, but I'll just proceed with the final question. We'll make it short. So talking about these job opportunities and such, so new industries that will be blooming in the near future due to the shift to technology. Maybe Mr. Yusri want to share with us first, then follow up with Mr. Aiman.
Yeah. So I think I've mentioned basically the tech is going to be a big one, but at the same time, with tech comes problems as well. There's a lot of problems with mental health. There's a lot of problems with on the human aspect. So that's definitely going to be in high demand in the future, because things that basically robots cannot replace lah. So that's definitely going to be something that will be high demand. The gig economy will definitely happen. There's a lot more jobs there. that are going to be just being done by phone and not going to be by fixed employer. Whether or not that's a good thing is there's a pros and cons to that. But then these are the industries that will emerge lah. The AI, whatever it is that has to do with AI, is definitely going to be emerging. From even my own industry, the drone industry is something that is already normal lah. It's not really something we can't say it's disruptive anymore. It's already normal. So a lot of people are already using drones to do inspection dekat power line, dekat telecom towers and stuff like that. Where used to be sebelum ni ada orang kena panjat tinggi-tinggi, ambil gambar, repair whatever. Now they just use a drone. Drone kecil je kan, drone tu kecil je. You can just inspection yang before this take a few days to complete. Now using a drone, they can complete it in just half a day or even less than that. And so that's definitely industries that are booming, and the jobs around these industries are definitely the ones that are going to be abundant lah. Even in my company pun we tak berhenti hire orang kan, sebab the demand is so great when it comes to drone and anything that is related to drone. So all of these things is definitely going to be new industries lah that's going to be blooming in the near future.
Yeah. Okay. Mr. Aiman, anything to add up to that?
Yeah. I just want to add up maybe communication industries take it from 5G, cellular network technology, which in turn gives us a faster and more stable wireless networking. It's a backbone of our online society as bandwidth and coverage have increased. More has become possible from email to web browsing, location-based services, can. So and then 5G, this network will give us not only greater speeds, but also be able to cope with connecting far more devices within a geographical area. And then like what Mr. Yusri said, that AI, maybe cloud computing, because instead of having the infrastructure in-house, the companies can store their data or information outside the company, and that could reduce the cost, overhead costs, and something like that. But not to say that other industries will be forgotten or dying, especially maybe this technology will be integrated, in stages. For example, in oil and gas, OMV company in Austria has been experimenting with robotic drilling rigs. So that means that no human will have to go out there to the offshore. It will be purely robotic, automated processes in drilling the wells, the oil wells, in terms of drilling and then putting the tubing inside the hole. But it comes with a cost, that infrastructure to have will not come cheap, So especially in activities or industries that if there's a failure on anywhere of the systems, could bring potential impact to the environment, such as nature, oil spills, something like that. Because take it from BP almost bankrupted due to the oil spills in Macondo. If you guys have been watching the Deepwater Horizon movie, so these industries with a high risk potential impact to the environment or the people, they are going slowly integrating the technology, but not in overnight time of duration, because human likes to be in control. So as what Tasnim has said, that human judgment, experience, so there's a lot to be done to improve the technology. to make sure all the work process comes smoothly. So that's my take.
Yep. Okay, thank you very much to the both of you. So I hope those the generation of anak muda kita, the youth yang bersama-sama kita dalam sesi ni can take up whatever being shared by Mr. Aiman and Mr. Yusri lah. So as we can see, there are a lot more opportunities being the generation of this tech-centric era. So yeah, I hope it would be helpful and take up the opportunity lah to explore more. So okay, we don't have any questions from FB pun. I don't see any. So with that, I think that's the end of our session for tonight. It's just that there are some additional sharings from the Zoom chat. I would just like to read it out loud lah. So from Mr. Faizi, Abang Faizi ke ni? Okay, he said that programming helps to beef up our thought process, preparation, and being methodological with better understanding on what we want to achieve or where we want to go in our career or day-to-day lives. We can then look for or use technologies that can help us achieve it better or faster lah. So this will increase our value and marketability. So thank you so much for that additional sharing. And yeah, with no question, I think before we move to our photo session, Mr. Aiman and also Mr. Yusri, being the anak-anak muda, you guys as well, any additional advice for your fellow youth out there? Starting with Mr. Aiman maybe.
Okay, so for the youth out there, anak muda, continue learning, keep learning new skills. Learning only stops when you die. In this ever-changing era, you need to adapt very well in every kind of situation. So keep learning new skills, new technology, new skills. Yeah.
All right, Mr. Yusri, last words.
Okay, so just want to share to school students lah, students who are at school. I know maybe some of the things that have been discussed are a bit overwhelming. We discussed about a lot of the, not just potentials, but we discussed also about the challenges. So, and it might be, I think dekat sekolah ni is a very confusing stage lah, because we want to decide what we're going to do for the rest of our lives. And it feels like it's a big decision, but trust me, nobody knows what's going to happen. So don't feel bad if you don't understand what's going to happen. Just go with the flow. But then for students out there, try to reach out. One of the things that I wish I did, and I wish a lot more people did, was to reach out to people who are working, to understand what is it that what is it exactly they are doing. Just because you are good at math doesn't mean you have to be a finance executive, for example lah. Some people have this idea, I'm good at chemistry, I take chemical engineering. That's not how it works. So you have to understand chemical engineering ni buat apa sebenarnya kan. Bila kita kerja programmer buat apa. And data analyst ni buat apa? Dia belajar statistik, buat carta je ke, buat graph je ke kan. So this is something yang you only understand bila kita tanya dekat orang yang tengah bekerja. So my suggestion, before kita masuk universiti, before kita ambil apa-apa course, go ask. Senang je, you just approach anyone in the field, engineer or whoever yang you nak jadi, you kata tanya, you kerja apa, buat apa sebenarnya kan, jadi doktor ni buat apa, and apa sebenarnya skill yang penting, kalau yang tak best tu apa yang tak best. And then from there baru you decide you nak ambil degree apa, not the other way around. Not you decide degree apa baru you tengok kalau degree ni kerja apa. So that's something yang I wish I have done. And if I can advise student yang sekarang ni watching, that's definitely something yang I really want to emphasize lah.
Yep, agree. terasa terkena Cik Yusri sebab I had that mindset before back in Taipei, macam okay finance je, okay we're going to do accounting, but yes, adik-adik yang baru nak masuk university to pick your degree, it does not work like that lah. So yeah, I wish I would do that as well, to reach out to those people yang really in those industry yang memang hands on kan, so that we know lah what we are really getting into those things. So yeah, thank you to this sharing session also, Secangkir Kopi by ANSARA TEPEN. I hope it gives more platform and access to the students to reach out to our alumni members lah. I think they all can be reached out through LinkedIn lah, LinkedIn especially, because I think everyone here also, our speakers, Mr. Aiman and Mr. Yusri, they have their own LinkedIn profile, so you can always connect and reach out to them if you have any questions. And me also, myself, I have a LinkedIn profile as well. So yeah, with that, thank you very much to both our speakers. Terima kasih banyak-banyak sebab sudi berada dengan kita pada malam ini lah. So without any delay, I think shall we proceed to the photo session. I might need Fazlan's help for that. So everyone in the Zoom, you can, sekejap, saya perlu tukar setting. Everyone in the room boleh open your camera lah. Laju Cikgu Aisyah. Fazlan ada ke? Allow to start video. Alright.
Orang tak sikat rambut ni, malu untuk kat kamera.
Macam saya lah, Baim.
Oh, okay, ada. Oh, Baim masuk. Okay. So, anyone lah, Baim or Fazlan can help. Thank you, guys. Baim ke? Tolong.
Kejap. Okay, satu.
Fazlan on the phone.
Okay, alright. Satu.
Baim,
dua.
Baim, sekejap. Cikgu Zaman masuk. Cikgu Zaman masuk.
Okay.
Mana Cikgu Zaman? Sekejap, Cikgu Zaman masuk. Dia ambil gambar sekali. Cikgu Zaman. Jangan diam je Cikgu Zaman. Mana Cikgu Zaman? Okay, itu dia.
Okay, satu, dua, tiga. Right, sekali lagi. Kejap. Okay, sekali lagi. Sudah kat mana? Sekejap. Satu, dua, tiga. Alright, thank you so much Aiman, Yusri and Tasnim, Cikgu Zaman, Cikgu Aisyah, Fazlan and everyone.
Best.
Yeah. Alright, thank you everyone. So for the closing remarks, again, thank you to both our speakers, Mr. Muhammad Aiman Azahar and also Mr. Muhammad Yusri Jamaluddin. And a big appreciation to our strategic partners, MRS and Taiping, TNF Energy Sdn Bhd, Aman's Media, Outpost Taiping Sdn Bhd, Alka Systems, and also BG Capital Holdings Group of Companies. So to all those who are joining, if you know any of your friends yang mungkin berminat untuk mendengar sesi ini, can always go to our Facebook ANSARA Cawangan Taiping and also our YouTube ANSARA TEPEN to watch the recorded version lah. And jangan lupa to subscribe, like and follow all of our social medias. We are everywhere. Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and WhatsApp and Telegram also. So kepada alumni, again, those who haven't officially registered, please do so. You can go to portal ANSARA Malaysia, www.myansara.org. Okay, so kita boleh tutup sesi kita dengan tasbih kifarah dan surah tu'as. Okay, sekian saja dari kami. Saya Tasnim mewakili ANSARA TEPEN. Do not forget, next week Jumaat juga, we have another Secangkir Kopi session dengan tajuk Pemuda Harapan Bangsa, Pemudi Tiang Negara. Assalamualaikum everyone. Thank you semua yang join.